Hello everyone, Galina is here to share more tips and tricks on her postage collage collection with us.
Hi, thank you so much for all the love and support. I really enjoyed designing this collection.
We've been collecting your questions about the postage collage collection, and in this video, we will cover many of them in 3 chapters.
A checklist for existing sets,
A plan for upcoming sets,
and tips and tricks on using them.
You will find timestamps in the video description below. Clicking on one will take you directly to that chapter.
In our last video, we covered the 6 stencils and 4 stamps designed for the original postage collage sets, up to the lucky stencil for St. Patrick's Day.
Our last video covered many basic tips that we won't be going over today, so if you're new to the collection, be sure to start with that video.
You can click on the link that pops up in the corner of the screen here or find it in the video description.
To our March release this year, we've added 12 stencils and 7 stamps since the video.
We released the Wildflower stencil and silhouette stamps in April last year.
Then in May, we introduced Beach Days and 4th of July.
In July, we had Snowman, Poinsettia, and Gingerbread.
Spooktacular stencil for September.
October was all about harvest.
In November, we added the Snowy stencil.
December welcomed the Pond stencil.
This February, we introduced the Butterfly stencil.
March featured Cupcake and a birthday stamp.
And in April, we dedicated an entire release to postage collage, including the block styles for all the popular card making sizes.
In the latest release, we have included lots of silhouette stamps that work with any of postage collage panel dies and block dies.
For the original A2 size, we also added the Gifts stencil,
Envelope die stencil,
Addressed envelope stencil.
mini seals die and stamps.
Since we make A2 cards 99% of the time, we'll be keeping all coordinating stencils to A2 size for now.
But remember, you can always trim apart the stamps to create your own collage on any card size.
If you're new to postage collage collection, here are the bundle saving options: A2 starter, A2 bundle, and postage collage bundle for A2 card size.
A6 starter and A6 bundle.
A7 starter and A7 bundle.
Slimline starter and Slimline bundle.
Mini slimline starter and mini slimline bundle.
If you're not sure about these sizes, check out Nina's video on popular card making sizes.
The Gifts die and all the silhouette stamps from our April release work with the panel dies and block dies for all sizes.
And with the April release, we have 3 more stencils that work with the original A2 panel. The gift stencil,
The envelope stencil.
the addressed envelope stencil,
We also experimented with a new texture die for the A2 size, the postage collage envelope die. It helps turn the little blocks into little envelopes.
and of course, you can always trim apart to use on other card sizes. For more ideas, please check out our intro videos and the gallery on each product page.
We've also started making mini postage collage die and stencil sets for a fun twist. These are usually offered as gifts with purchase during each release.
So far, we have had the Poinsettia die stencil, Moss die stencil, and Cupcake die stencil. They can be used on their own or work with the rest of the postage collage collection.
They're so cute. My favorite is a new miniature die and stencil from our April release.
It's like a mini postage collage. You can stencil first and then die cut, or die cut first and then stencil, just like all the postage collage panel dies and stencils.
And of course, you can trim them apart to create your own collage with the rest of the collection.
They're super fun to use with tiny stamps and dies you might already have.
We've also put together a handy postage collage checklist in a PDF format for you to download. You can find the link in the video description below. Let's talk about what's coming next for our postage collage collection.
I'm still so excited about this collection, and we have many sets planned up for upcoming releases.
We don't expect anyone to collect them all. We just love exploring the possibilities and offering options.
I hope you will find a set that touched your heart as much as they have to us.
Most of the time, we try to include a themed stencil with each release.
But as mentioned earlier, we already have planning A2 stencil for now.
We're also keeping a balance in styles.
We have a whimsical sets coming in May, June, and July.
Floral sets in August, September, and October.
And more graphic sets in November, December, and January next year.
Depending on the release, we will mix and match styles when it makes sense.
To sum it up, we're planning 1-2 sets per release for the rest of the year.
And most of them are designed to be used all year round. Now, let's answer some questions from our customers. I will ask the questions and Galina will take it from there.
Sounds great, I'm happy to help.
First question, color choices. Do you have any go-to color for using the Postage Collage collection?
I love exploring all color options, but I found that a high contrast between the background and the images gives me the best results.
So, using a darker background for lighter images and a lighter background when you use the more intense colors on the main images?
Yes, here are some card samples with good contrast.
I see. I noticed they have something in common.
Yes, using a cardstock color that's already in your stenciled images helps tie the design together.
Echoing colors, whenever possible, creates a cohesive look.
One more thing I would like to mention, even so our stencils indicate light, medium, and dark areas, that doesn't mean you always need 3 different ink colors.
With a larger brush, like our blending brush, you can create light or medium shades just by adjusting the pressure while blending.
Exactly, and with our small shader brushes, you can get very intense colors for shadows using the same ink pad.
Second question, stamping tips. People love that they can stamp over the stenciled images, but they're wondering, how do you decide where to stamp?
First, I want to encourage you to stamp whenever you want, but if you need a starting point, I've designed them with the stencil. Do you see the open spaces in the stencil designs? I left them blank so you can stamp in the details.
I love how organic the designs feel. There's no wrong way to stamp. Very cool.
Thanks! I also want to mention that if you're stamping over the block stencil, you might notice a small gap along the edges. This is because the stencil has a thickness. You can easily fix that with a black pen.
I see. Is that why you always use VersaFine black ink for stamping over the Postage Collage panels?
Yes, and I also love using a white gel pen for touch-ups.
You mean for when the stencil accidentally lifts during ink blending?
Exactly. Sometimes you might blend outside the openings and a white gel pen helps cover up any extra lines.
Or you can just cover it with a Stencil.
Yes.
Last question, creative variations. Can you share some different ways to use the Postage Collage sets?
The first thing I would like to recommend is experimenting with different color combinations. See how you can create both modern and vintage look from the same stencil just by changing the colors?
Speaking of vintage looks, I love how you can use the block stencil to add brown ink along the edges to make a design feel like a vintage stamp.
Yes, and did you know that many of these designs also look amazing with a layer of glitter paste instead of just ink?
That's a great idea. Another fun way to switch things up is by cutting out the stencil designs with the block die and then mounting them onto a Postage Collage panel die cut from some colorful cardstock.
Yes, it's all in the details. You can also add enamel dots and smaller die cuts to embellish the panel.
Do you have a favorite enamel dot color?
Sure, black, white, and clear.
That's it for our Year 2 celebration of the Postage Collage collection.
I hope you have fun exploring and creating with these designs.
For more ideas and inspiration, check out our product pages or the intro videos for each release.
Hope to see you again in our next video.
Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day. Bye!